Alright guys, welcome to another Nerd Talk. I'm Nebulous Nerd. I've got a few things I want to talk about. Today, I want to talk about me a little bit more. I know I've said a few things in some of my other videos, but I'm going to repeat myself a little bit here in case you haven't seen those or weren't really paying attention. I'm 28 years old. I know I don't sound 28. I kind of sound like I'm somewhere between 12 and 15. I can't help my voice, so it is what it is. I kind of act like a kid sometimes, but my life is fun, so I have no complaints on that. In the background here, you'll see me playing Stardew Valley. Yes, I suck at fishing. I totally realize that. It is what it is. It's really frustrating to fish in this game, but there will be other things, so don't mind that. For those of you watching my videos internationally, I'm sure it's pretty easy to tell I'm an American. For those of you that are local, I live in the Pacific Northwest. I wasn't born and raised here, so if you're looking for any particular kind of accent and are wondering why I don't have one, that's why. I was actually raised in the Southeast, so sometimes you'll catch a little bit of Southern drawl from me. I've been told that sometimes I have an accent, sometimes I don't. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. I just talk. It's what I do. Another thing I kind of want to talk about is what got me into gaming. Why I'm so into gaming, the kind of games I'm into. If you've watched my Spyro videos, I kind of went on a bit of a long rant. Spyro is one of the things that got me into gaming. I think it's what got me into more hardcore gaming as opposed to casual. But honestly, I've been gaming since I was like 5 years old. My parents had the regular Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, and when I was small, they used to have these Tetris battles where they would try to beat each other's high score. That was really fun. Yeah, my parents are gamers. It's amazing. So I got into Tetris, I got into Kirby. I played a very little bit of Zelda. I was terrible at it, so I didn't really play it much. I tried my hand at the original Final Fantasy game. I was just as terrible at that as I was at the original Zelda. But Kirby, Super Mario Bros. 3, they were fantastic. One of the first games I ever finished all the way through was actually the Super Nintendo's Zelda: A Link to the Past, and is still one of my favorite games of all time. I haven't played it in a really long time, but I still have very fond memories. So, there are other game types I really like. Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, if you've ever heard of Jak and Daxter. Those three game sets have stayed with me since their release. I still play them, I still own them, I own the original discs, I own the digital copies because I like them that much. If they're not your kind of game, I'm sorry to hear that. You're gonna see a lot of them on my channel, but I'm also going to do a lot of other things. I'm trying to break it up because I know there are all told, there are 3 Jak and Daxter games I'm going to play, at least 3 Spyro. I might try to reach out and play some of the later ones, but the 3 originals have always been my favorite. There are about 5 or 6 Ratchet and Clank games. Actually, probably more than that. I think I own 6. There are a couple that I either borrowed and didn't care that much for, or bought and returned because I didn't care that much for. Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked was one of those. It wasn't a bad game, but it was super, super short and just didn't hold a candle to the original 3 and the 2 that came out for PS3, Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time. They just didn't hold a candle to those games, so I didn't really care that much for them. I'm also really big into open world games. I love Skyrim, Fallout. Oh, there was another one. There's always another one. Fallout and Skyrim are definitely 2 of my big favorites. Oh, I know there's another one and I'm never gonna remember it. It's fine. Oh, for those of you who haven't tried it yet, if you have an opportunity to play Zelda Breath of the Wild, do it. Open world Zelda, it's amazing. I don't own it, but I did have the opportunity through a friend to play it, and I loved it. Eventually, I will be purchasing a Switch to get the Zelda game. I just have, I have adult things to do. I have to prioritize, so Haven't done it yet. Outside of video games, I do actually have other interests. Um, Fairly recently, in the last, I'd say, 5 years or so, I kind of started to fangirl over things, and that's really unusual. I've never been much of a fangirl. Like, I've always been a nerd, but there's never been anything that I really obsessed over until I discovered Doctor Who. Yes, the new Doctor Who. I haven't spent much time watching the old ones, although now that I've watched so much of the new ones and have fallen in love with the new ones, I do want to see the old ones. I just have I have to find a place where I can watch them where there's more than, 2 episodes for the older Doctors. Like, they had them on Netflix for a while and I had started watching them, but literally 3 episodes for the first Doctor, 2 or 3 episodes for the second Doctor, 4 episodes for the third. I know there's so much more out there, so I have to find it from a preferably legitimate source. I'm not a pirate. That's not what I do. So, that's been a struggle, but eventually I'll get to a point where I can watch some of it and actually make a determination as to whether I like the original Doctor Who. I'm sure I will just on principle, but I also like Supernatural and Sherlock, although not as much as Doctor Who, so I guess I'm a Super Who-lock. I'm pretty eclectic in most aspects of my preferences. Music, I can listen to anything from Lady Gaga to, oh my goodness, Avenged Sevenfold. I like the only genres I don't particularly care for, but I'll still dabble in once in a while. Not a big fan of country and the offshoots of country like bluegrass. It's never really been my thing, although I do have a couple of songs in my music library. Red Solo Cup, I love that one. I kind of... Anyway, I love cartoons. Cartoon movies, cartoon TV shows, whether it's adult cartoons or children's cartoons. I love watching movies like The Minions and Despicable Me. Finding Dory was adorable. I've always been a huge Looney Tunes fan. Bugs Bunny is my soulmate. Maybe not that serious, but I do love Looney Tunes. It's amazing. Of course, in that vein, I watch Futurama, Family Guy. I never really got into The Simpsons, but that was more because I didn't take the time to attempt to watch it. I don't have any particular dislike of it. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I'm not much for watching TV very often. Usually if I throw on a TV show, it's either because I'm in a bad mood and don't want to do anything else, or I have it set up as background noise, so it has to be something I've watched 1,000 times. Futurama is really good for that. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I've watched every episode on Netflix at least 6 times each. It's a little sad, but I really like that show. It's really easy to just put on and do mindless things. I like comedy. I like horror. I go up and down with horror. Like, I really have to be in the mood for it, but I really do enjoy horror movies and horror games. I'm terrible at horror games because I'm a huge coward, but that also is kind of part of what makes it fun to, play those games for YouTube, because I'm a coward and you're gonna listen to me freak out, and it's apparently hilarious. So, Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. I am gonna get back to that, by the way, for those of you who have watched it and have wondered why I only did 3 videos. I will get further. Dizzy Squid actually told me what I did wrong in that last episode where I stopped, so I guess I'm going to make my way back to that and attempt to entertain you some more with me screaming like a little girl. I'm also really into books. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. The Dark Tower series, The Stand, I love them. I love Stephen King's books. I haven't read as many of his newer ones, just because I kind of go in and out of reading the same way I go in and out of TV shows. I have to be in the mood for it. Sometimes I will binge read until 4 o'clock in the morning and realize, hey, I have things to do tomorrow, I should probably get some sleep. And other times I'll go weeks without picking up a book, so it really depends. But I like all kinds of books too. Young adult books, mystery books. I'm not a big fan of romance, but I dabble when I'm in the right mood. I like puzzles. jigsaw puzzles, puzzle games, hidden object games. I've been debating whether I want to do any of those for my channel. Um, while I feel like they're not really spectator style games, I have been told by Dizzy Squid that I'm wrong and that some people do actually enjoy watching those games. So I will probably work on getting a few of those off of my Steam list and here onto my channel. So if you like those kind of things, please let me know. Definitely, if you like the things that I'm doing on my channel, on my videos, please leave me a comment so I know that I'm doing something right. Or if you would rather see something else, you can reach out on my channel, reach out on my Facebook page, reach out to me on Twitter. Let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best. I can't promise anything, especially if they're new games or games that I don't own. I will try. I don't have all the money in the world. I wish I did. I would buy every game and play them all for you, but I'm, priorities. I have to eat. I have to have a place to live. So, I'll buy games when I can, or I'll try to play games that are similar until I can purchase the game that you're interested in watching me play, whatever the case may be. One other thing in terms of things that I like that are not video games. I am an animal fan. Most people are. In terms of pets, I own a cat. She's adorable and annoying, and not the sharpest tool in the shed. We're not going to go into that. She's the sweetest, though. She loves snuggling. She loves getting on my desk and knocking things over, because that's what cats do. I've had other pets. I like dogs, but you have to be in the right environment for a dog to be at their best. I live in a tiny apartment, not really an ideal place for the kind of dog that I want would be a German Shepherd, and you kind of need to give them some free rein there, and we don't have a whole lot of places for them to run. I'm sure I could make it work, but considering I already have a cat, and my cat is not the only pet in the household, it just isn't an ideal situation at the moment. Maybe someday. I do like lizards. I've owned lizards before. I don't own any right now. Actually, before I moved out to the Pacific Northwest, I had this fish tank that I had emptied out and set up for the tiny little anoles, the little garden lizards, and I had like 6 or 7 of them just hanging out in there. It was pretty cool. I've never owned any large lizards, although I would like to, but they take a lot of work, and you really have to, it's not that they take a lot of attention, but they take quite a bit of maintenance to keep their cages clean, and I don't have the time that would be required to really do that. So I'm agreeable to it if, a roommate or, if I ever have a significant other that wants a lizard, I'm totally amenable to that, but it's just not something that I've done with my life up to this point. Snakes are pretty well the same way. I like the idea of it, but the reality of it is I don't know that I have the attention span to take care of them the way they need to be taken care of, so have not done that. If you notice in the background there, I just accepted a quest on Stardew Valley to bring somebody Demetrius Joja Cola. I didn't realize this until I actually turned it in. So usually you can find Joja Cola in the trash cans, but you don't want anybody to be around when you're digging in the trash cans because they tell you you're gross. Which, they're not wrong. So I end up, if you'll watch, going to Joja Mart and buying a can of Joja Cola, which just makes the entire quest pointless. Because buying Joja Cola is 75 gold, I take it to Demetrius, and the reward for that is 75 gold. I can't have any kind of relationship with Demetrius because he's already married, so the whole thing was kind of pointless, but I didn't realize it until there at the very end, so whoops, my bad. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Lots of random information. I really don't have anything else for you today, guys. Well, I guess I do. If you're watching this shortly after I post it, I did recently finish Murdered Soul Suspect. I have actually finished recording Ratchet and Clank, so that will be over here soon as well. I only have a few videos left to edit and post, and then we will be moving on to other games. I'm actually going to do Fatal Frame on the PlayStation. you'll learn a little bit about what I do and don't know about that game in the intro video, so I won't repeat myself multiple times here. Outside of that, I'm considering doing Dust and Elysian Tale. That one looks pretty cool, and I already have that in my Steam list. So, again, if you have any requests for games for me to play, or genres, types of games, if there's anything you want me to talk about in the next Nerd Talk video, please hit me up. Twitter, Facebook, here on my channel. I don't care. I do pay attention to things that people post and things that, comments that are made. So hit me up. I'm open to ideas. Always, always. Alright, well, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.